And here we are. We're on photos for a little bit because we've got one member that the game and the computers are doing their silly game and computer thing where it won't allow you to connect or whatever. So since he's having to restart and do things, I'll leave photos up until that gets solved. He is back on Discord, but we'll see if he's got Roll20.
Please excuse all technical difficulties.
Yes.
Will we solve this issue?
Typical.
I can't get into the game.
Wow.
What is going on? Did you try using Chrome?
I guess I'll have to.
Yeah, I can't get it to work with Firefox anymore.
That's weird. I'm using Firefox.
Same here.
I mean, I came in hours before, but I was able to get in.
I started having problems with Firefox on it. It's why I swapped to Chrome and actually have liked it better. For a while, Chrome was the one not functioning, and Firefox was. Now it seems to be the other way around. So.
They like to trade places once in a while.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
It's the round robin of who wants to not work this week.
Pretty much, yep.
Ba-da-ba.
But it's a typical night of our usual problems, getting 1,000 different connections from 1,000 different places on the world, all to cooperate in one spot at one time. We have a group that last week started doing more investigation regarding the fireball that occurred. They wound up getting several things which had led them to the House of Inspired Hands, which is the Temple of Gond. It is the temple dedicated to the constructions and mechanical doodads of the world, people that honor that, heavily gnome in population, but definitely not limited to gnomes only. There are all races in it. Anyone who is very crafty in their abilities would tend to do it. In the process, they encountered a second nimblewright, apparently, that was more intelligent than the average just automaton that the others are, that you see during the Day of Wonders parade. This one actually seemed to have some sentience, some awareness of his own being, and he got bored and wound up creating another nimblewright, according to him. And this nimblewright had gotten loose after being scolded by one of the priests of Gond. He came out with a device that is used to track nimblewrights, and he said that through her interpreting her, since he can only use sign language, he interpreted that if you use the device properly, it would start to spin slightly. This little like gramophone umbrella thing on it would start to spin a little bit. And once you got within, in 500 feet, it would start rotating. And once you got within 50 feet, it would just like whir and spin like crazy. So supposedly this device is going to narrow down what you're able to do. Let me see if we can get the video locations up here, since I love to talk with my hands. Almost got it. Okay, got most of it up here while he tries to figure out what's going on with his browser that does not want to cooperate. You can go with voice for a while until you figure out what's going on with your browser there, Sam. Anyway, they have now left the House of Inspired Hands and are heading out, and they were in a debate about how they were going to do this. There are basically, counting the City of the Dead, there are 8 wards in the city that you would have to search to find this. If you walked, the stats are that it would take you a average half day per ward to search it. If you take a hack, some kind of horse-driven carriage, you can do each ward within 2 hours. And if you go by griffon, you can get everything done within slightly more than half a day. So it's very quick by griffon. So there was a debate about whether or not they had the pull to be able to get the use of a griffon in the city. So where do you guys stand regarding how you're going to do this?
Cashin
On our feet, I would hope.
Well, Cashin.
Gotta come back strong, folks.
All right, so Cashin being behind the idea of the griffin looks to Nokri. Look, Nokri, we have to get this thing as fast as possible, and time is of the essence. We have to find this thing and find where that Zent went. And best way I can think of is the griffin. And I know you have pull with Silvermane. So can you help me out and try and bend his ear into giving us a griffin?
I've been giving it a lot of thought since we've been walking back. Yes, it would be the fastest way, and I believe the griffin is more under the guard's jurisdiction and not so much the nobilities.
But he was a former guard, and I know that he still has friends. Maybe he could try and get us a favor. Like, I'm not expecting a miracle, but I'm expecting an opportunity. And
It still would raise way too many questions. Like, why do we need it? And the less we bring attention to that question, I think would be better. I mean, this is just my thinking, of course, for right now, weighing all the options, of course. It would be the quickest, but it seems the risk is just not worth the reward.
And if we take a carriage, the risk is that thing is still on the loose and it might cause more damage. Like, because, I mean,
and
it doesn't
there's no
have
guarantee that using the griffin would stop that either. There's no guarantee on either one.
Look, we have options. I search from the skies, and if I get a location, we can search it on the ground to get an exact area. How does that sound?
I'm willing to let everyone else have their opinion as well. We all have a stake in this.
I will throw in that although Varus had remained with his parents early on and did not go to the Temple of Gond, he has since arrived, and after tracking down, following various information from people, he has caught up with the group now.
Oh, hello! It's so good to see everyone again.
Hey, Varus, a quick question.
Yes?
Do you think it's possible do you think a griffin that is searching through the city would cause any attention to be drawn towards
without
us?
a doubt. Well,
I will put in an OOC here to throw in with you. As you look up, at any given time, you can see at least one griffin flying overhead, circling overhead.
So it's not like an uncommon thing.
They are part of the standard patrol of the city.
They might, if people paid close attention, they might notice that it's. Why do you ask? Well, the griffins themselves are not an uncommon occurrence. If you were planning on taking one, I would say it's more a matter of whether or not someone notices it's not a guard on the.
Well, we need one to find this thing quickly.
I think we should most likely take this off the streets if we're still out there, and let's talk this someplace more secured.
They took the long way home, reviewing from last week. They just wandered up and down the streets on their way back to the Troll Skull in the Sea Ward, so that they could get the Sea Ward kind of cleared out as they went. They were not able to get any kind of reaction at all from the device. It just sat there as if it was inert.
So it's probably not in the Sea Ward then?
Right, it appears not that you didn't come within 500 feet of it within the Sea Ward if Nim's device actually works.
It's unlikely that this nimblewright has been moving around. Most likely it's gone to ground somewhere, is now trying to lay low. So if we can pinpoint it.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's the idea, but you have to find it quickly before it moves again or goes out and causes more damage. Look, how about I try and take this to your contact, and I'll see what I can do, and I will search for it. I will try and get a rough location of where it is. And while that's happening, you guys can try and grease the investigation to open up the tavern again. And maybe you can even find some clues in on why one of Daggle Neverember's men was in the city. I'm pretty sure the priests can speak with the dead.
More importantly, what he was carrying.
Yeah, that damn stone.
Look, there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of things that need to get done, obviously.
And debating about it won't get us anywhere. We have to act now.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, each of you tell me what you are going to do. If you split the party, that's fine, because this, I think, will work pretty well with splitting. So let's just go through. Obviously, Cassian wants very much to go talk to the Griffin riders and see if there is any potential or any way he can persuade them to let him use one somehow. But the rest of you, Lynn, just forget about Cassian and what he's going to go try to do. What is Nokri going to do right now?
I forget what else is at the Hall of Justice in terms of getting. Because I forgot
the morgue.
Alright.
For the other matter regarding the Troll Skull Inn, you are going to need to get in touch with Jalester Silvermane and see if he can't go to Castle Waterdeep and speak with some of the people there, or perhaps get an audience with the Open Lord to try and pull rank to get some wheels greased to get the inn open again. So you've got the opening of the inn, which you've got to pull some rank on, and you've got to pull rank to get into the morgue to see if you can get some cooperation regarding the corpses.
I have like 3 things to accomplish. Hall of Justice to get information, but I feel like going to the Hall of Justice to me is a moot point until I can either get my hands on Renair or the other guy. Jeez, I'm terrible with names. Was it Silver?
Jalester.
Yeah, I just remember his last name. Jalester or Renair. Like, if I can't get in contact with either one of them, then the Hall of Justice becomes a moot point at that moment. Because one way or another, going to the Hall of Justice to try and get information out of Renair's man doesn't make sense without having Renair with me.
Well, not Renair's man, his father's man.
Look, okay, semantics.
I know. Sorry.
Someone that works for his family, period. Done. I need Renair there. Because he's the only one who's connected back to that guy. Point. Done.
Obviously, he's met him at least, so yeah.
Exactly. And it would seem strange for me to question someone that belongs to another person's family without someone that represents them.
Now, regarding that, it is clear that Renair is in the city again. He laid low for about a week, and he's now back in the city once things kind of got cleared up. And he was at the Troll Skull Inn. You would try possibly his old haunts, possibly see if he is with Volo. Something like this might be a place to go for him.
Yeah, well, either way, finding Renair and Jalesser are the two things on my chopping block outside of trying to find the nimblewright.
All right, so pick one, toss a coin, pick one. Where are you going to be headed?
Might as well try Jalesser first. He might also know where Renair is, so we kill two birds with one stone doing that one first.
Very good. Where is the shepherd going to go?
Sorry, helping old Sam. The shepherd is going to make his way to the stable. He's gonna see if he can't curry a favor for saving Maxine to possibly hire her for Hackshaw or whatever it's called. The car
Just
driver.
a hack, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the carriage hack, large carriage. Okay, so he's going to the stables with Maxine. Where is Relian going?
He kind of. Would the shepherd divulge where he's going at all?
I would have said that yes, I'm going to go and hire a carriage.
I think I'll stick with my buddy, the shepherd. Epi, you want to come along with us?
Does Epiphany want to go with him?
We suppose.
Yay, the 3 Caldamigos. Let's go, Commander Shepherd.
I just look around and I'm looking for Nakri for help.
Help!
She's just going to slightly shrug and go, just go with it. They're harmless.
If you would
Cashin's
prefer,
al-
we can. If
Cashin's
you would
already
prefer,
gone.
we can.
Let's
If
leave.
you would prefer, we can accompany Nakri instead.
And Varys, now that you've jumped into the circus, where are you headed?
I suppose he will try to go with Cassian to see if he can be of any.
Very good.
Send 2 non-charisma people to go convince the guards to let them get a griffin.
Speak for yourself. I have +3.
Oh, that's pretty good, actually.
And it is not entirely so much the persuasion role as it is your connections, but yes.
Here's a crazy question. Okay, so before we clap hands, go break and split party, on the off chance that you don't actually get the griffin, we still have the shepherd's hack rides.
Exactly.
So how do you want to handle using the device? Because currently, I'm the one with it.
Well, first he's going to have to go and see if he can arrange it. Because basically, the afternoon, it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon by the time you finished walking up and down the seaward. So you're not going to be able to actually do anything today regarding any more than the seaward itself. So the rest of the afternoon will be spent doing your various arrangements, whatever it is you're going to do, and then tomorrow morning you will take off with it. So once things are decided. So yeah, we can do this easily.
I'll just keep on to the device until we know which is the plan we're going with.
Very good. All right. I'm going to drag some tokens on to indicate the group. I will drag Cassian on to indicate the Griffin group. Put him down by the Mount Waterdeep. I will put, let's see, I don't know where the head of the faction actually stays. I do know that you eventually track Gillester Silvermane down at Castle Waterdeep, where he is actually in there trying to do some things, and you come across him actually with Mert there. Let me pull their 2 tokens on to more visible. And I will put Nokri's symbol that she runs around a bit, but eventually manages to track them down at the, oops, try that again, at Castle Waterdeep. So that will be Nokri, and if anybody's with her. So Cassian symbol represents Varys and Cassian. I will take the shepherd's symbol. That will, I remember the stable was up here somewhere, but I don't remember exactly where it was. Seems like it was about up here somewhere. So I will put you up there in the north section of town, is all I can remember about it. And that's where
it's there now.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll use that.
We will accompany Brutal Smasher. We should not have one go by themselves unless they are high above the sky, and he looks at where Cassian went.
Okay, very good. So Epiphany and Nokri have gone to the influential district. Cassian and Varys are at the Griffin, and Rel and the Shepherd are at the stable. Okay.
Quick question. Where are we sitting off from? Like, have we gone back home and now we're splitting up?
Yeah, I'm
No,
assuming you went to Troll Skull Alley, and that's where Varys met up with you.
Okay, before we leave again, Aurelian's going to check on his chicky wikis and regurgitate some more fish.
Very good.
Disgusting.
They are.
Because I am
They have their beaks wide open and are squawking. You also find that Leaf, L-I-F, Leaf, your ghost, is hovering over them like a tender mother. She seems to be very much fascinated by your baby house cranes.
Aren't they adorable?
She nods and just looks at you like, that's so neat.
All right, Hugin. All right, Moon, and you both of you be safe.
Oh, good. You gave them names.
So does Varys...
Wait, he's attached to them now.
We cannot eat them now.
Does Varys what?
Has Varys seen these things?
He has now.
What exactly are those?
They
Cranes.
are baby cranes.
They're
Cranes.
city cranes.
White cranes, to be specific.
Oh damn! I thought we could use them for construction.
They're specifically
Well,
in
that was
England.
cute for me.
They're in slang terms in Britain, they're referred to as house cranes, and they frequently make nests of chimneys and can be a problem. Okay, so let's start with Cassian's group, because a lot hinges on whether or not he can get this ride and so forth. So I will go down to the Griffin area, and we will go to the Griffin Yard. When you arrive at the Griffin Mount area where they are all kept, yes, you find a kind of a stable that's above ground, that sort of nests that are built up on platforms that on scaffolding sort of things, and there are quite a number of the birds in their various areas. And there are also a lot of empty ones, which you would assume would be those that are out patrolling the city from above. And there are griffin riders about, including one that has a mark of some rank that is working with one bird and another guard of some kind. It does not. The guard he is working with does not have one of the winged emblems on his sleeve indicating he's one of the griffin riders. But the griffin rider, sergeant, commander, whatever he is working with another individual that's just a guard.
All right, well, Cashin just confidently strodes up to the man and politely introduces himself. Greetings, Cashin, at your service. And you are Sergeant?
Abalon.
Yes, well, pleasure to meet you, Sergeant Abalon. I say that is a very fine specimen of griffin you have there.
Well, we wouldn't have any other kind. Our griffin are only the best.
And I wouldn't trust anyone else to protect the city skies. On that note, I am in the, well, first, Cashin introduces his emblem to the man.
He nods with kind of like, all right, now, what you show, yeah, and he is, you are showing him the, I keep getting the two of them backwards.
Gray hands.
Okay, so that's the one that's the overt one. So you're showing him that, and he nods. Very good. So you were in the guard. Excellent. Exactly what is it, and who is your companion?
Oh, this
My
is...
name is... I gesture to Cassian to...
This is Varys. He's a local. I decided to bring him along because he's very interested in seeing the griffins.
He is now.
My occupation puts me in close contact with many animals sometimes. I've never gotten to speak with a griffin before.
Speak with a griffin? You have the ability?
Oh yes, it's all part of my work. I help the Emerald Enclave here in branch here in this.
Ah, excellent. Then you probably will make good friends with our friend here. His name is Bone Snapper, and he strokes the bird that's in front of
him. Very strong name. Well, I'm in requirement of one of your griffins because I'm looking for a certain entity within the city, a very dangerous one.
Well, it is our job to do this. So give us the information of for whom you're searching, and we will see if we can't have a patrol go looking for it.
And Cashin then, see, thing is, I've got orders from up top to be, to keep the circle of information small, and he gestures a tiny circle. I just need the griffin, and I do have a method of accurately finding this, let's say witness or belligerent, whatever. I don't need one of your best griffins. I just need a griffin to do a fast patrol around the city.
Well, with the proper authorization, naturally, and Greyhounds is not sufficient, I would have to have a permission from the Open Lord or from the head of either the Gauntlets or the Lord's Alliance in order to do that. They are the ones who command us for our patrols.
Would it be helpful at all if we were, rather, I suppose a better question to ask would be, I don't suppose we would be given unsupervised attention on this griffin. I do imagine that you would send at least one of your patrolmen to ensure the interests of the city are enacted.
He pats Bone Snapper, and you notice for the first time, as he kind of makes a point of it, that the saddle has a double hump on it. It is designed for two people. And he said, well, this is our training griffin. That's what we use Bone Snapper for. He's one of the strongest ones. As a matter of fact, I was preparing to take our guard friend here on his first flight. He is being trained as a guard. This is true. You would go with another, but I cannot authorize it and will not authorize it without the authorization from the Open Lord, from the head of the Lord's Alliance, or the head of the Gauntlets.
Well, cash in at this size and just ushers the he actually just comes over to the sergeant and tries to move him away from the trainee.
And you're just like saying, come over here, I want to talk to you?
Yeah.
All right. He kind of raises an eyebrow and hands the reins to the guard trainee and walks over with you. Yes, sir?
I got these orders from the Blackstaff herself, all right?
Then you will have the Blackstaff contact us. I could have anyone walk in here, sir, and tell me that they have orders. But until I see those official orders, I cannot and must not allow anyone to get on my griffins.
Thing is, you know that incident in the North Ward?
I do. We were there.
One of the people who caused it is on the loose, and we have the only means of tracking that thing down. And look, something dangerous is going on, something to do with something, but we don't know all the details, but we need the griffin. And Cashin just looks at him imploringly, and I will try and do a persuasion roll.
Okay. And I will say you have it with disadvantage because he has very firm orders that there are only certain people that would be allowed.
No whammy, no whammy, no whammy.
He sighs and says, all right, now between you and me, and with no one else looking over your shoulder, do you have anything? He rolled an 18 on disadvantage. Yeah. Do you have anything from the blacksmith? Blacksmith. From the Blackstaff.
Well, I have these fine horseshoes.
Wait,
Pretty
what did
much.
he say?
He is asking you if you are in any way connected to the Blackstaff, because he's obviously going to consider bending the rules if you have any identification for more than just the Greyhounds.
Cashin will try and
If you can get me an order from the Blackstaff, I will bend my authority because obviously she has great pull. But that is the only way I can bend this, and you have to understand that I'm risking my rank by doing this for you.
In Cashin sighing, he looks to the man and just nods. All right, I'll try and see if I can get something official from the Blackstaff.
You do that, and the mount will be yours, with as a trainee saddle and someone along, of course. But yes.
All right. Well, Varys, you can either join me to meet one of the most powerful people in the city, or you can stay here and play with the birds.
All
Both
right.
of those options sound like fun.
Now, meanwhile, back at the stable, we have Relian and the shepherd trying to talk to a horse, of course.
And so, Shepard, see, that is why I am not going back to Baldur's Gate for at least another 6 months. Luckily, I was wearing red at the time, so none of it showed, but can you imagine me in red? Seriously.
I could imagine you in brown.
Really? You think brown would be a good color on me?
Interesting comment considering where we're going next, but anyway.
Hey.
It's called Fourth Wall.
Yes.
Anyways, I believe we're here.
All right, so I can't remember the name of the guy who owns Maxine. I have forgotten his name. I knew it once upon a
We'll just
time.
call him Caravan, then.
Yeah, I can look it up, but
Cletus.
it was something ordinary. I don't remember, but I had him.
Well, gosh dang, Miss Dungeon Lady, how could you forget old Cletus? You made me.
I know. Let's see if I can't find what his name was, so I'm not flubbing around like I did on Maxine last time. That would be this one here, and it would be Harper. And Jaster. I wasn't far. Okay, Jaster.
I prefer Cletus.
Or Jasper.
So yeah, I'll walk up and I'll greet him. Greetings, Jester. It's good to see you again.
Oh, yes, you're the one that got me horseback. Thank you very much. It's been so nice to have the old girl, and he's stroking her, and he's kind of wiping her down. She's a little bit sweaty. It's the end of a day, and she's been trotting all over the city.
I've been wondering if I could actually call in a favor for the service I rendered for finding Maxine for you.
Why, Shepherd, for you absolutely anything. You found me horse. How can I refuse you? No, absolutely, you got me horse. What do you need me to do?
I was actually wondering if I could hire out Maxine for a carriage ride.
Why, yes, absolutely. Where are you going to go?
That really depends, actually. We are going to be making a round about the entire city.
Oh, the whole day. Yes, well, for you, I'll do that. Maxine, you don't mind not carrying a bunch of other fares for one day, right, old gal? And she just kind of goes...
That's very good to hear, Maxine. See, I told you she could talk.
Yes, of course she can.
And I say that to Relian.
I'm actually going to try something. Oh, the shepherd. While the shepherd and Jaxter were talking, Relian is going to be entertaining, quote unquote, Maxine with some minor magic tricks with minor illusion, and as it ends, he's just holding a ball of red light in his hand, and he reaches into one of his sleeves. Then he retrieves, instead of the ball of red light, it's now a shiny red apple, which is real, and he's going to offer it to her. He's trying to get in Maxine's good graces, basically. I would actually like...
Pretty much what horses do, yes.
I would actually like to roll a precision thing. And can I get advantage? Because I'm having a crap night.
Maxine is
so sad.
Yeah, he can't get in game. So he's going to roll with advantage. Do you have dice there you can roll, or you need me to roll for you?
I had no dice. But you know what? I'm going to get up a dice calculator, and please take me on my word, because you guys know I would never lie to you.
Absolutely. You would never lie to us, Sam. To
Let's see,
Sharoka,
I'm
maybe,
trying to-
but not to me.
Let's see here.
It's strange. I just keep getting natural 20s all night.
Okay, so with advantage, that's going to be a 16.
Oh, she munches on the apple. She takes it from her hand. She looks very happy.
Just going to give her a gentle pat on the neck and says, well, that's one way of communication.
So exactly anything else you're going to try from her? She's obviously very happy.
I am eyeing her lips very closely.
Don't go in for that big, sloppy grandma kiss.
Ugh.
Don't make this weird. I mean, Rel makes it weird every day, because he's Rel, but that, you know.
You make it weird too, though, so don't lie.
Yeah, she just reaches over with the velvet on her nose and just kind of like strokes you like, that was wonderful.
Did she say that?
No, she just is, why did all of a sudden I've lost all the videos again and I don't know what's going on.
Oh.
All right, but anyway, she didn't actually say any words to you, but she definitely, looks like she's overjoyed that you gave her an apple.
I am keeping my eyes and my ears. Because if Shepard doesn't get to trust us, we don't get to trust Shepard.
But you already do trust me because I persuaded you that she doesn't talk.
No, yeah, but the first time, but then you failed the second time, remember?
Oh, I did not fail the second time.
Kids.
Yes, you did.
Boys, you're both pretty. Stop.
I wasn't gonna say that.
Please stop.
Anyway, her ability to talk is still somewhat debated, is the long and the short of it. So yep.
So is she all right to go now? I noticed that she does look a bit tired.
Oh, well, we'll do it first thing tomorrow morning. She's had a long day in the city. It's getting late now.
Very well. Then I will, myself and possibly any of my other associates will be here first thing in the morning.
We'll be up and waiting for you, won't we, old girl? And she goes...
Then I give her a nod, and you won't have to worry about that trying to kidnap you. You'll have more than just myself to protect you now.
She shifts her feet.
Pretty little hat.
She shifts her feet, and if you were just a little bit crazy, you'd almost say it was like she was dancing a jig.
Alright, so unless you have anything else to do, Relian, we may as well return to the Troll Skull Inn.
You know what? I think that sounds like a great idea. Let's all head back home and have ourselves an early night. And on the way back, we can talk philosophy. Like, for example, have you ever noticed stars? What's up with those?
Meanwhile, down at Castle Waterdeep, Epiphany and Nokri they're a little bit exhausted, but they finally managed to follow a trail of people saying, yeah, he was here just a few minutes ago, but he was headed off. He asked about so-and-so, and he headed off here and there. And you finally have tracked him down at Castle Waterdeep, and you catch up with him. He is in one of the rooms or meeting areas that are kind of like a conference area that is designed for the lords to meet in when they convene. However, the only ones that are in the room at the moment look to be official secretaries who are carrying large stacks of official-looking papers and various things. And you find him in a rather heated discussion with one of them who is giving him a bit of a snub nose, like, I can't do anything about it. And Mert steps forward as you come into the conversation. You see Mert coming forward, and he says, well, now, come on. We can't have this. Why, the finances of the city are what makes us run. Without our finances, we would collapse and be just any other city in the realm. How can we have that? We can't possibly have that. Why, we could just become something like Yartar. We can't do that. So let's bend just a little bit, shall we? All right, at this, Dockery and Epiphany walk in. What are they going to do?
I'm going to observe what's going on before jumping in on anything, because that's was a better idea.
Kick down a brazier and say, YOLO! No. Wards Alliance this. No. Epiphany is pretty much following Nokri's lead on things. They're out of their element, but they really didn't want to go see the horse. They already spoke to the horse.
Something loaded!
I got in! I got in! I got in!
Loud.
What was that?
Relian is in game. And that
Oh.
really screaming.
Oh, okay. Yes, so I see. Okay. Woo! All right, all of you in
That's
Video
kinda
Land,
weird.
we have Relian in Roll20. Yay!
I'm sorry, everybody. I'm a very emotional person.
It finally relented and allowed him in. All right, it was the horse.
My
The
reign
horse
of
did it.
terror may once again continue.
The horse did it for you.
Wait. She can talk and she's psychic? She's Mystra in horse form.
Ugh.
Jalester is he's kind of stepped behind Mert and is letting Mert take over the conversation until he notices somebody walking up beside him and realizes it is Nokri. He kind of tips his head and looks around Nokri at the person who is following her. What kind of appearance is Epiphany in?
What kind of appearance is Epiphany in?
Is he hunched over, making it look like it's a torn sail, or is he standing straight? What's he doing?
Hunched over, clutching the thing would cause less of a complication than having to explain what these two fingers are.
So you're just kind of acting like you're her servant or something.
Yeah, servant, bodyguard, somebody probably assumes pet, like whatever.
I was gonna say pet too.
Give me a stealth roll, not for stealth itself, but to determine how much they pay attention to you. Okay, so you pretty well
Basically a shadow.
Yeah, you just basically follow into her shadow, and you aren't noticed very much. They, being lords, they just kind of ignore you as one of the common servant sort of things. A lady would have her servant following along to pick up her handkerchief when she dropped it or whatever.
That will never happen between us.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking a very lordly kind of image of what's going on here. Jalester would turn to Nokri and would say, Nokri, you've come just in time. Here is the woman that we've been speaking of. This is the Lady Nokri. She owns the Troll Skull Alley. She is a person of some great degree of importance. She is from a visiting realm, and she has taken up residence here, and you are keeping her from doing her rightful duties. Please, Nokri, tell him what's going on. And Mert will say, and I will say absolutely that she has my full backing as one of the money people of the city. We must have such things going on. So he also defers to you. So what's Nokri going to say?
I'll nod my head respectfully towards Jalester, and then, of course, quick nod to Mert, and then humble, like like a humble bow of greeting towards those that they're talking to, and just kind of observe them for a moment before speaking up, going. Uh, Indeed, yes. The Trollskull Inn is my co-owned property. I've actually gone into business with someone who uh, is of is a resident already in your fine city. It was just a horrible event. This explosion, and then now we're being told we're being forced to close. So just after our grand opening, it seems so strange and a bit unneeded, especially since the inn had nothing to do with the explosion to begin with.
Mert just frowns at the guy who's standing there, giving him a very heavy look, like, what are you going to do about that? The man goes, my lady Nakri, you must understand, this is totally out of my control. Why, the commander of the guard himself has ordered that the area around your fine establishment, and I understand completely the difficulties of such things, they have ordered that for your own protection and for the protection of those on Trollskull Alley, and there are numerous people involved, that we must not risk another event of this magnitude occurring in the thing. Now, if you, by any chance, Lord Silvermane, or yourself, Lord Mert, if you would be able to get one of the lords to approve this, perhaps to go to Leotril herself, perhaps I would be able to overrule the guards, but I don't know if you can get an audience. I mean, after all, and Mert now, his fat face is kind of getting purple. He's got a bit of a fume going on. And he's going, Jalester, this fool doesn't know a dragon from a sun. Let's just go and handle this on our own. I think that perhaps I might be able to get us an audience.
Wait. Before we depart, uh, look, I am not asking to be open tomorrow. I am just saying a month is a little bit much. A week, maybe two, for the benefit of the doubt. Something more reasonable than a month. That just seems a little bit, especially since the festival is what just started. It seems a little off-putting. Down, it's like it almost feels like someone is trying to make us fail.
Exactly what I'm saying. I mean, the dragons must flow in this city. This is what we're about. And I for one, will not allow this to stand, you officious fool. Why, I'll go over your head. And the officious fool looks at him with a kind of an eye roll, like, yeah, sure, you and who else. But Jalester goes, well, both of us together have some degree of pull. I guarantee, sir, and he's looking at the official, I guarantee that Mert and I will be back here first thing tomorrow morning, and you will eat your words. And the man just kind of like, oh, deliver me from citizens who think they're all that, and he says, fine, I have duties to attend to, and it is getting late in the hour. If you are able to do so, please return tomorrow and show me such credentials.
I will go up and offer my hand to shake on that arrangement, of course, just like, if this is acceptable with you. And of course, and I'll offer a rolled up parchment, and it goes, and believe me, I understand what busy work it is. Back home, I am in line for my father's throne. So trust me, paperwork and politics, I completely understand your point of view, and I know that you are doing the best for every citizen that you can. When we reopen, to help relax, come in for a free drink on me.
My lady, I thank you very much, but I am sworn to protect the citizenry, and I hope you are not offering this as a bribe.
No, no, not a bribe at all. Just a gift.
Excellent. Then if my lords and my lady will return tomorrow with the orders that can countermand the commander of the guards, I will immediately open the troll skull.
Thank you for at least the consideration. At least, as I say, if not immediately, I am willing to a week, 2 weeks, something more agreeable than a month. That's all I ask for consideration. And she is doing it and making hand gestures to be. I'm not trying to pull above the law. I am being humbled and asking for assistance type deal. Like she's being extremely respectful in all mannerisms and just not laying it on thick, but just just trying to be like
Very
upon the court type deal.
right. Yep. And the noble says, "You are most gracious, lady, to understand my position here. I am not in a position to be able to countermand such high authority, not without sufficient authorization."
Which we will seem to do. Thank you very much for your time.
All right. Where will Nokri be going and Epiphany following their trip down to Waterdeep
Now,
Castle?
I'm gonna tug on the ear of Jalester and possibly Mert. Now, who did I see Mert? Did I see Mert potentially see Mert speaking with anyone?
You would have seen him pull aside the shepherd.
I will.
And I believe the shepherd told you that he was a money lender in the city.
Okay. I will, as we were walking away, talk to both of them. We may have found information.
One
Sorry,
more thing
what?
that the shepherd gave?
One more thing that Nakri would specifically know is that Mert was the benefactor for us for at least 100 gold.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's fine. That's fine. Because I remember him being on the free drink list. They may have found some other ways of also getting this a little bit open to assist the guards on proving that there is no immediate danger by helping to expedite the resolve of certain issues, especially the explosion.
This would help greatly, I'm quite sure. And Mert kind of steps in, and he has just like a big jolly fellow, kind of almost a Santa Claus look to him. He's just like, he got his Mert look. He goes, "Now look, both of you, money talks in this city, as you know. And I have a certain way of speaking with the open lord that she understands regarding the finances. Well, the finances of the treasury and all, you understand, because money keeps us running and keeps the treasury full. So don't worry about this too much. I think I might be able to get you those papers that you want with a little bit of jolly talking. Just give me a little time with Lealtro."
Don't believe anything they say
I
in the
will
news.
take his
It's all
hand.
fake news.
I will take both of his hands and shake them with them her own and go, "I appreciate everything you do, especially your stake in the troll skulls reopen. Believe me, these things are not unnoticed and not unremembered by any stretch of the imagination. And should there be something I could do, perhaps get you trade across the sea by some way."
Most excellent, my lady. That would be excellent repayment if we could expand our trade. I thank you very much, and yes, I will admit that to a certain degree my investment has given me impetus to try and get you open as soon as possible. But I tell you, my lady, don't lose any sleep over this. I think I know what I can do.
Well, I will lose plenty of sleep knowing that someone I had protected at one point is unfortunately no longer with us.
Most
We lost
sad.
our worker that had died in that explosion.
Oh,
So-
most distressing. Most distressing.
After the whole thing with the court and everything else, he was the survivor against the assassin.
Yes. So he was the last affected
Yes.
witness. Most interesting. I wonder if that had anything to do with this explosion.
For that group in particular, that I am sure that they still have something to do with the assassinations. For their sake, I hope not. They will make very powerful enemies.
Yes. I understand that the whole Maiden's Fair was involved in this whole thing. They are in operation up in the market right now. They bring in a great deal of money to the city. I would hate to see them lost due to unwise circumstances. But first thing, before it gets totally dark and night is falling, I must hurry away to the palace to try and see if I can't get to speak to Leotril.
By all means, Janister, I have a question for you. By any chance, do you know where a certain young man might be? Renair.
Oh, never, Ember? He's a bit of a rogue. He does get around, but I would say, knowing him, he'll probably be off buying a few drinks for Volo and trying to bask in the imagined glory that Volo brings to him. He tends to hang around him quite a bit.
And I'll wait for Mert to depart before letting him know there is something else afoot. The individuals that also were caught in the explosion, one of them is linked back to Renair, and if it has anything to do with what I and some of our compatriots were connected back to in the very beginning, oh boy, this is going to get very messy very quick.
Exactly what do you speak of? Speak plainly, my lady.
A servant of Renair's family was in that explosion as well.
Lord Neverember, he has been expelled from the city, and one of his couriers was here.
Yes. And we're also looking into his missing possession.
You mean the dragons? See, he won't know anything about the stone.
He was carrying something. I don't think it was dragons. I think it was an item that was taken.
An
But
item.
I need to find. I'm not certain. That's why I need to find Renair and try to find out what he might know.
Well, then I would suggest you go and start the yawning portal. That is the most likely place. If he's not there, I'm sure Volo will be able to tell you where he's off to now. He tends to lead a pretty wide existence.
I'm going to turn to Epiphany and go, can we play nice with Volo for a moment?
Is Epiphany going to play nice with whatever he calls him?
We can't hear you, Apple.
Testing.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
There we go.
There we go.
We will grant you 65 seconds of peace.
Boy.
I'll take it. You know what? I know you don't have to his fan, so I'll take it.
And Epiphany's face just starts twisting into what they assume is a non-threatening smile.
Nothing
But
threatening about
kinda
those pearly whites.
You can kind of see that their chin has like dislocated a little bit, kind of like the way like a snake does when it's about to open and eat an
I'm going
egg.
to lightly pat his what equivalents to a face cheek, and just be like, "For my sake, please, don't fight him yet. There will be opportunity to get the coin you had earned."
We do not wish coin any longer.
Okay, well, we'll figure that out. Right now, we need to find certain people.
Ah, my lady, I will tend to other affairs, and I will see to meeting Mert. I will lend my aid to his word, although I know money certainly talks, and he has a great deal of pull because of it. I will see what I can do. With your permission, my lady, I will go and join Mert at the palace.
Of course, absolutely. Trust me, anything you can do to expedite it as well is greatly appreciated. I don't wish to be to do much debt too much. I did not come here to be well, owing a lot of people. I came here to make a fortune, not lose it.
Ah, yes, lady. Well, Waterdeep would be most shamed if a visiting royal came and instead wound up losing a great deal of money. We will see what we can do to get this handled. Good evening, milady. Okay, so he heads off as well. All right, so you're going to go to Yawning Portal?
Yes. And then we can switch to somebody else until we come back around to that. Who knows? People might converge into certain stories.
Yawning Portal's down. Or somewhere.
There it is. Okay.
It's actually really close by to Castle Waterdeep.
Yep, that's good. You don't have to walk too far. All right. So you head over to the Yawning Portal, and I will say that when you walk in, it's the evening crowd is just starting to build. It's not super crowded yet, but people are starting to wander in. And although we won't handle it right this moment, sure enough, over in his back corner, enjoying a tankard of ale, which probably somebody bought for him, is Volo. And on his right hand, listening to all the tales and yarns he's spinning, is Renair Never Ember, who is there as well. All right, now back to the first group again, who has now journeyed up during this period of time up to the Blackstaff Tower. So you go in, and the Blackstaff's secretary greets you. They would know you, Cashin, but would not know Varys.
Hello, my lady. Don't mind Varys here. He's just my walking companion. I just need to talk to the Blackstaff for a quick moment, or get an official letter to get through some legal hoops.
She has an appointment later. How long will your business take?
It'll be very short. She knows what my task is. I just need to get a letter of an official letter of hers or something.
Give me your card, please, and I'm assuming that being a somewhat noble in the city, you would have some kind of simply printed card that you would leave at residences or whatever. So she would take your card and would disappear through a door in the back and would be gone for perhaps 10 minutes, just enough time that you're wondering if she's having a little bit of trouble. And then she would come out and she says, her current business is finished. She will see you now, sir.
And Cashin will confidently stride towards the entrance.
Varys will not be permitted in. The secretary will engage him in pleasant conversation. She is not rude. She just Cashin is being ushered into the Blackstaff.
Have you ever spoken with a griffin before?
She'll be fascinated with that information. Cashin, on the other hand, you
hear on the winds, I have.
Anyway,
So Cashin goes in, and he is able to meet with Vajra, who says, "Yes, I only have a brief moment. I have some business that has to be handled down at Castle Waterdeep. What exactly do you have? What's up?"
Well, I have a lead on one of the let's say one of trying to remember one of our culprits in the fireball incident.
Yes, I'm aware of quite detailed with that, not only from your sources and what you told me, but from other sources as well. What exactly are you working on? I know there's several things related to this fireball, and not the least of which is an apparent faction break between the Zentara.
Well, while some of us are trying to work towards that, me and others decided to work towards the angle of this nimblewright that was spotted on the roof.
Yes, quite disturbing that. I heard about it.
Yes, well, we went to the House of Inspired Hands for this, and well, to put a long story short, we know that it came from their temple, and the thing is apparently on the loose because they had yet to put the enchantments on it, allowing it to, well, let's just say it was a mistake, and it'll be rectified as soon as we recover the nimblewright.
I will remind Elliston, remind Conrad that you absolutely promised to keep any record of that part out of it because you were going to get the temple in a lot of trouble.
All right. Well, all right. So he's just going to say, well, we went to the House of So can I do a do-over?
Retcon!
All right. Thank you. So we went to the House of Inspired Hands for help, and well, they gave us a method of tracking down this errant construct. But time is of the essence, so I need an official letter or something so I can get a griffin to fly over the city and find it.
Are you griffin trained?
I am a fast learner.
Well, I suppose I will give you permission as long as you have an experienced hand along with you. I wouldn't want to see one of our griffins injured. They're hard to come by.
Yeah, well, fortunately, we have a well-trained one.
Well, very well. And she turns and gets a piece of parchment out of her desk and quill and ink and writes a very formal letter with her signature on it, stating that it is imperative and in the best interest of Waterdeep as a whole that you be given. She says, "How long will you need this griffin for?"
Couple of hours. It shouldn't take too long. We just have to zero in on where it is.
All right, very well. I will ask them to take you on the griffin for a period not to exceed noon of tomorrow.
Okay. He takes the letter and he gives her a deep bow before leaving, slightly stumbling on his feet. I meant to do that.
Of course, now, I must away. I have important business, but good luck to you, and please report back immediately if you find out any information about this nimblewright or whatever construct this thing is. It's most disturbing that one is on the loose somehow.
Yes, the temple didn't like that one bit. He just says as he leaves.
All right.
Epiphany passes him in the hallway. Yeah, so I need a griffin.
All right, so where will Varys and Cashin go?
Straight back towards the Eyrie.
Okay. It's dark by the time you get there, and the griffins are pretty much all put away. The guard commander is clearly putting up his tack for the night, putting away all the harnesses and saddles and everything. He looks tired, like he's had a long day, and he's going to be glad to be getting home finally, as you come chugging in fast to try and speak with him.
Hey, got that letter now, so can we get on those wings or what?
Well, not till tomorrow. Our griffins don't fly at night.
I thought those things would be good, would have some dark vision.
They do, but it's often a problem with them flying and being mistaken for dangerous things, even dragons at night, so we have found it is better to fly them during the day.
All right, well, Cashin doesn't want to make the trek back up here again, so he's just gonna sit down and wait.
Oh my goodness, you're going to sleep there all night?
Yep.
Wow. So you will have one level of exhaustion.
It's like one of those guys. Oh, God.
Meanwhile, poor Varys makes the long trek back home by himself.
Oh yeah, Varys will sit there and talk with the griffin a little bit, but he's not going to stay there all. He's used to getting up early and he moves quickly.
One
wait,
level
I've
of
got-
exhaustion, I always have to look it up. You have a disadvantage on ability checks.
You sure this is a good idea, Cashin?
Hmm?
Seeing as you were almost killed before by yourself,
How was I almost killed by myself?
the guy with what is it? The guy that was hunting elves, wasn't it?
Saloon.
Hey, come on.
I will say that seems like with probably 10 hours until dawn, it's a long time to wait. But anyway.
Okay, I've actually got a question real quick, because the rest of the group is meeting back up at the Troll Skull Tavern. Did Cashin tell Varys about his plan and that, yeah, I got permission, or did he just say, I'm camping here for the night, you can go home?
Now,
I'm asking Elliston
my
here.
question
I'm asking
to
Elliston.
Alliston.
He will tell him. He will tell Varys of the plan and tell them to inform the group.
My question is, now the box that he's got to get on the Griffin is clear across the city from him.
Yeah, that's part of my situation
Wait, what?
that's going on here, because see, the rest of us are meeting. Nokri is the one with the nimblewright detector. She was the one who entrusted it.
Okay.
Now, hold on, Elliston, let me finish.
I get it now.
No, I am finishing. Please
Just
me
let him finish the sentence.
Nokri is the one with the nimblewright detector. She was the one who was entrusted with it. You told Varys that you got permission and to go inform the others. However, the rest of us who are meeting up at the Troll Skull Tavern have also gotten permission to use the hack driver come morning. So we could just say, hey, do we want to go do Cashin's thing, or do we just want to say bugger it and head to the hack drive? Because you will be waiting there all day if we choose the ladder so we don't miss the hack driver, and you'll be sitting there all day saying, what is taking them so long?
And I point out that if you use the technique of having him fast scan the city, rather than taking a couple of days or whatever, if you fast scan the city with him, then you can then hand the box over to them. Now that they know exactly where they're going, hopefully, you will all be able to zero in on the exact location of where you need to be, which I think in the long run will be your best choice.
Okay, I'm just making sure that the information is given to the correct people who can then tell the other correct people. That's my only concern.
Here's the thing. You take that point of exhaustion, you're going to have to most likely make some sort of handling check, even though you'll be going up with another person. You have to balance yourself on the back of a moving animal in the air while keeping an eye on this device. It breaks. That's it. We've got nothing.
I'm actually curious. Why are you camping out there? What's the IC reasoning? This
Forget
is a
it.
legit.
Just let him talk.
Come on.
Let him talk.
This-
Let him talk. Allison, it's a legitimate question. What is your reasoning to stay there instead of go get a night's sleep and then go back? You can't fly until dawn anyway.
My reasoning was I thought it would take too long. All right.
So pay for a quick carriage ride back home.
Not the carriage ride.
The walk home from where he is to.
No, I'm saying just go out to the street
No.
and flag a taxi.
I think he's
No.
talking about the come
Going,
It'll
coming back.
Flag a taxi to come back.
Fine. It was a stupid idea.
Look, you still have to learn how the device works to make sure it's working properly. I'm just throwing that out there.
I was
Look, he
there in the
recognized
room.
it was a bad
right?
idea. He recognized it was a bad idea. Let's just move on.
Okay, so are you still remaining? A yes or no, and I
No.
won't question it again. Okay, so he
No.
goes back to the group meeting at the Troll Skull. Nokri has to finish up at the tavern. So let me get Cashin back up to the Troll Skull. And and Varys is up there as well. All right, Nokri and Epiphany go in. What was your nickname for Volo, Apple?
Pays nothing.
Yeah. All right, so Pays Nothing and his lordly companion are sitting at the table. Volo is holding forth about the time that he fought six big trolls at once, and how he swung around and their points being broken, his pants fell down. But anyway,
As we approach,
that's a
I-
Falstaff joke for those of you who don't know Shakespeare.
As we approach, Epiphany thaumaturgies the candle at the table to turn gold.
Not only do Volo and Renair look startled as the candle on the table flashes gold, but several people at tables around turn and stare at it, and a couple of them say, "Volo, how did you do that?" "I didn't do that. Not me." All right, so Nokri, you come up to Volo and Renair. What's your approach?
I'll pretty much just going to walk over and give a friendly half wave to both of them, just kind of like a hey, and pull up a seat.
Good to meet you, my friend. I haven't seen you, well, since last night and all the explosion, but we weren't really doing much at that time. I came near and the guards were in my way, and I didn't really want to push my way in, so I just gave Renair here a pat on the back and told him to go on in.
It was a mess of a night and more of a mess going forward, but we're managing.
So exactly what brings you here?
Actually, I might need assistance from Renair. Is there a place we can speak that might be a little bit more quiet?
Well, my lady, we can go over here to one of the more distant stalls and where they have the curtain that can be pulled. Would that suffice, or do you need to step outside?
No, I think that would suffice. Epiphany, would you mind standing guard? Make sure no one is watching or listening.
He's away from the camera, so I'll say that Epiphany went and stood outside the thing. Somebody let him know when he gets back that he's standing guard. So Renair takes you over to cut more of a private booth kind of thing and pulls a heavy velvet curtain closed so that any conversations are muffled.
So I'm just going to lay the cards on the table and fill in Renair what she had found out from the others and what overhearing and whatnot, information that they have gotten about what the messenger was potentially carrying. And then we'll phrase the question, do you happen to know anything about an item like this?
Well, it's all tying myths together and what I know. You see, when the lords of Waterdeep ousted my father, I thought his shadow was gone from me for good. I was rather glad to have him gone. I wanted nothing to do with him. I really didn't approve of him. But his spies kept hounding me, kept wanting me to be part of his schemes. One of them, a man named Dalakar, who, well, I called him a courier last night. He was actually more than a courier. I'm afraid he was kind of one of his private spies, assassins, strong arms, whatever you wanted to say. One of his trusted men. He was always watching me, hanging around, and I kept having to try and give him the slip. I was afraid he was feeding information back to the Zentarum, and that was part of why I got taken by them, was all the things that he was doing. But about 10 days ago, he just disappeared. He stopped following me. He wasn't anywhere to be seen, and I didn't know what had happened. And I knew that although my father didn't trust many people, Dalakar was the one that he trusted more than anybody else. So I was suspicious that maybe he had gone somewhere, and I spoke to some of his friends. Now, apparently, he was on a special mission. I'm not quite sure why all this had come about, but the word among the group was that he had gone to get the Stone of Golor. I hardly could believe it. I didn't even think the stone really existed, but according to them, that apparently Dalakar thought that the Zentarum were following him and were trying to get it, and he wanted to palm it off on someone.
Well, from what we witnesses had seen, they had stopped him, told him to give them the stone. They stopped him, told him to give them the stone. They got into the fight. Haldar jumped into the mix to help him, and then the explosion happened soon after.
Yes, well, that would probably fit. I have a feeling that what he was trying to do was bribe you to take the stone to my father, since they had it hid away and he was trying to get it by more undercover means to my father. That's what I suspect. I don't know that. But knowing that he knew where the stone was, that he couldn't carry it himself, and where he was found, there's no one else in the area that he would be visiting except you, and knowing that you had had the run-in with the Zentarum and all, I have to think he was trying to get to you.
That is an interesting angle that I had not considered. I thought he was trying to deliver something to you. Well, the question the only one who would actually know any answers to any of this would be him, and he is at the Hall of Justice in the morgue. Which leads me to my next question. We want to ask him questions, but I figured the way the law works, one noble or a group of individuals inquiring information from a person who has no connection to them would be a bit more suspicious. You
I can go claim the body, but as for a speaking, that will require the authorization of someone higher that commands the guards, either the Lord's Alliance or higher. There's no way I can ask them to actually speak, though I can probably ask to have the body claimed.
It could help. I may know a way to pull string on this, especially since I work with the shepherd and whatnot. And we did state to the guards that we will be helping them with the investigation. to expedite anything any further if they get any information. But again, like I said, he is a dead related back to your family. It would not be right for somebody else to come in and try to ask questions of the dead.
Epiphany enters the room.
Is something wrong, Epiphany?
It has been 65 seconds.
Now you're standing guard outside a private area that she's speaking with Renair. I asked them to tell you this.
Okay.
Volo,
They stick their head in. It has been 65 seconds.
Volo is out at a table out there, so Nokri can refer to the 65 seconds.
Just please do not, no violence. If you want to harass him, go for it. But
how far away is he? Perfect. I'll let Doc continue.
Just, Epiphany, please don't cause too much of a scene. I don't want to have to bail you out of jail.
We apologize for the inconvenience of our message. Please continue without me.
He really does not like Volo.
So what is Epiphany going to do to or with Volo?
They're just gonna establish a mental connection and start like. It's gonna hear like.
Your friends will abandon you.
Your friends will abandon you.
You will die. And in about 2 days, we'll all be saying that same thing, huh, Appo?
No one will remember you.
I was gonna say that one, Apo.
Anyways, but I mean, if you want to get any more involved in there, I mean, I don't want to drag you into it, but unfortunately, you were the only lead I had, and I will now have to go find out more about this legend of the stone.
Well, a straight answer, straight question, my lady. As I say, I will be able to go in. I will be able to request the body having a familial connection to Dalkar, and very likely I will be able to obtain the body. But do you have someone that can speak with dead?
I don't remember if Shepard can or not.
I will in a couple levels.
Yeah, I can't yet.
I might have to
level
ask.
Spell.
2 more levels, I can.
Got it. I might have to ask the guard to assist on the matter, but
Then I repeat my earlier statement, my lady. You will need connections.
I'll have to work on those fast. One of and it is very weird. It is not the Zantara that attacked him. It is a rogue faction, from what I understand. So there's another group involved that's trying to get something out of this, and one of them managed to slip away from the explosion. Whether he has anything in his possession or not, that is another matter.
All I can say is I can get the body for you. You need to get the authority to have the speakers of the dead question him in your presence. That's all I can say, and I would say that it would take one of the faction leaders or higher, clear up to Laetro herself, before you would be able to get this countermanded if the commander of the guard himself will not do it.
I will try all avenues. It's a lead. It is what between that and what caused the explosion. We're trying to solve a lot of things.
Very well. Do you want me to meet you somewhere tomorrow, or what do you want? The hour is late for most officials.
Oh yeah, tomorrow. I would say the Hall of Justice would probably be a good place to meet up.
That would be where they would take the bodies, yes.
I also wanted to see what was being done about Haldar.
Excellent. Then we shall meet there tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So meanwhile, out in the inn proper, Volo keeps going, thinking somebody's speaking behind him. He's convinced somebody's whispering in his ear right behind his head.
No, you're looking the other way.
Your book.
He opens the Enchiridion and looks at the book like, are you talking? And he says halfway out loud, are you talking to me?
Yes.
Wait, did the shepherd just show up or something?
No, he's just filling in for you.
They're adding words for you.
He's putting words in your mouth.
Do not speak for us.
So what is Epiphany telling him?
We will find you acting on your best behavior.
Who is that? Who's talking to me? And his voice is slowly getting louder and louder, and the people around him are like, yep, he's had too much to drink.
The one who will finally catch you.
Who is that? Who's saying that? And a lady over at the next table goes, saying what, Mr. Volo? There's nobody saying anything. We're just watching you. Didn't you hear that? No, we didn't hear anything. Renair, are you finished yet, Renair?
Little did we know, Epiphany's plan was to just slowly ruin Volo's social life.
All right, so do Nokri and Epiphany finally make their way back to the Troll Skull?
Yes.
All right, so everybody is finally, whoops, wrong way, I always go the wrong way, is finally grouped back up at home and is able to share what their various experiences gave you for the evening. So let's just go around the circle with the main people that had the expedition, and then I'll also pick up on the ones that were their seconds in the thing. So let's start with the shepherd. What do you want to share with them that you did?
Everyone's back, you said?
Yes.
Yeah, I let them know that I have arranged for us a carriage ride in the morning.
That may actually not be necessary anymore. Cassian here was able to secure passage on a griffin until at least...
Well, thinking about it, we need to pinpoint this thing's location, and as far as I'm aware, the Griffin would have to be pretty close in order to do that, but I can do a flyover and get a rough area wherever this thing is, and then from there, we can go at it on foot or carriage.
Yeah, it basically boils down to he will be able to pinpoint the 500-foot range, but he won't be able to fly low enough to pinpoint the 50-foot range. So you can get a general vicinity, and he can pinpoint that very rapidly. And from there, you can zoom in on where it's going.
Right. And I think we all pretty much just talk that kind of game plan that he'll go up and look for that 500 range. And when he finds it, he'll let us know where it is, and that's when we'll pick up with the carriage, because, we do have the carriage for the whole day, I think it is.
Yeah.
That I asked for, whereas he only has the Griffin for half a day.
Right. So
Possibly half a day.
So basically, he'll be able to do it first thing in the morning, report back to you very easily in the time frame, and be able to tell you where he detected a signal coming from. So now what will Nokri share that her group had?
We'll start filling in them about what's going on with the reopening Troll Skull, with the meeting with Renair, and the information about the person and the item the stone that might have been lost in the shuffle. I wish I had any information about what this thing actually was.
Epiphany
Relian.
very happy.
And she would now be able to
would-
say specifically Stone of Golor.
Sorry, yeah, I couldn't. I'm terrible with names tonight. My eye is very distracting.
Right, so we do have the name of the stone.
Yes.
Is our library stocked at all?
You mean
do
the
we
library
actually
in
have
it?
those?
No,
I don't think
you don't have much. Although certainly in the open public areas of the Castle Waterdeep, there would be reference books that you could get that would tell you what the story was about that stone.
Gotcha. Okay, in that case, can I roll a history check to see if the name rings any bells with me? And can I get any kind of advantage? Because this is Relian's bag. This is kind of the center point of his entire character, magical artifacts.
I'm going to say you can choose to roll either history or arcana.
Awesome sauce. Let's see what I have here. Where's my history? I'm gonna go with arcana because that's better than my history. 10.
You do remember that one of the Zentarum that you were overhearing and while you were traipsing around in things, and then later in the Xanatar sewer area, you heard people talking about this, and one person said to the other, "What is that thing?" And the other one said, "It's supposed to be some key to some kind of door."
Okay, opening up a connection to Epi. Just like tapping him on the shoulder.
Yes.
Okay, I know vaguely what the stone is, and I'm pretty sure one of ours has it, one of the loyal boys, and I don't want it.
When the DM smiles, it's already too late.
Then we will find it.
Oh, that reminds me. I have my Van Gogh Starry Dice T-shirt on tonight.
That's pretty cool.
Like, let me show you the formula that is going on in Rel's head right now. Hold on.
I can't see the. Oh, good. You're typing it in the game because I can't see it in Discord. I have an overlay.
Also, I like the idea of Relian just furiously tapping on Epi's shoulder, and then they just sit there staring at each other.
Yeah.
For like
Just silence between the two of them.
Longing gazes.
I'm just going to I'm gonna slowly just wave a hand between the two of them just to see if it breaks anything. I've always wondered if this actually works.
Magical artifact, historical knowledge. One of our people has it. It's mine.
That is just flashing in his head right now.
Precious.
Oh, you have not... Dude, wave a magical trinket or artifact in front of him. He is a rabid animal. You have not seen him yet.
I've got a shiny!
You.
All
There
right.
will be a moment for this.
All right, so once does Varus or Epiphany or Relian specifically want to add anything to what they saw, what they did with their twosome groups?
No, but Epiphany does just seem very, pleased with themselves.
I'm very much hoping I can speak with this griffin tomorrow. I didn't have the chance to today. All I did was go and wait outside a tower, so I suppose I should have just stayed there to speak with him, but it's an advantage of hindsight.
Would you like to talk to Mugen and Hugin? It might, birds might give you some practice.
I don't think they would be able to provide quite the conversation.
Right.
Mama?
Food? Mama?
Yeah. Cass, I can't speak with animals. Yes, that's right. I am your mother.
Okay. Merlin just puts his face on Varys's head. I mean, his hand on Varys's head, and just casts Firebolt.
Varys immediately casts water and negates it, but yeah.
Something like that, yeah. But no, I don't have any other important thing to add.
Okay, so let me see if we got a game plan going forward here. Touchdown, Super Bowl, all that good stuff. I don't know what I'm saying right now. But anyway, plan going forward.
You're too excited over a shiny.
Plan going forward. We head out at the crack of dawn. We go let Cassian fulfill his lifelong dream of being a griffin rider. That's going to make you feel real good, isn't it, going to CC? It's just like when you were a little kid again, just like how you always wanted. It was your dream, wasn't it? I can tell. But we're going to let CC ride a griffin. He's going to pinpoint where Mr. Nimble, spawn of Nim, is hiding, and then we're going to go to that talking horse, and we're going to have ourselves a little adventure.
How long do we have the cart for?
1 day.
We will have it for 1 day as a payment. Myself and Relian and Epiphany rescuing the horse.
I helped.
Ish.
Yes, you helped, friend Relian.
Okay. So I think as a small game plan, we all head over to the Hall of Justice because I need to head over there to meet with Renair in the morning to have him claim the body of his father's employee. From there, we're going to, which I may need your help with, Shepard. We need to find a way to get a chance to interview the dead.
Now, I will point out, Lee, that it's going to be simpler if the body is there at first where there's already speakers of the dead.
Well, I was going to him for assistance on influence. Sorry, to clarify.
That would be no problem with me. I'm unable to speak with him, but I have fellows that are able to speak with the dead in the city of the dead. It would probably require him to be moved to there, unfortunately.
Which I don't think
the simplest thing, and you keep overlooking the obvious in this campaign, is your connections to Jalester.
I don't have a connection to Jalester.
I haven't necessarily overlooked it. I just figured he'd be really, really busy with the other thing, so I'm like, I don't want to add to his pile of shit.
The Hall of Justice is it's a busy place that type of morning. How about me and
arrested when we get on the spot?
Yeah, why don't me and Epi run some errands in the morning, and we'll meet you at the Talking Horse.
Very well. Do you want to take
a new inn pops up called the Talking Horse?
That would not be a bad name for an inn.
True.
The Talking Horse above the Troll Skull?
Right, the Talking Horse.
Hi, Mr. Red.
Anyways, I want to find out more of this myth behind this stone.
You and me both sugar tales.
Sorry?
I didn't say anything. What?
You said something. Don't lie to me.
All right, so as we're kind of pulling up on when I want to end it for tonight. The plan will be that first thing in the morning at dawn, when the light starts cracking, Cashin will go to get his ride on the griffon, and we'll go through.
And he will have the nimblewright detector.
All right. We might possibly be able to get that done tonight, or at least some of the districts done tonight for the first thing in the morning. Now, are you putting the getting the dead body the highest priority, or are you getting the troll skull information connected as the highest priority at this moment?
I mean, it's already closed, so it's not like. As for the other people who are under the employ, most likely Nakri would have given them instructions to see what they can do to assist on helping to go through the materials on the in-level floor to fix, mend, replace. Like, I have them running around taking notes of what should be fixed, type deal.
Okay, so they are still employed and being given jobs.
Yes. Yeah, she's not gonna put them out on the street just because of that. She's gonna try to see what she can do to get an assessment and a list of what they think should be needed, and she'll review everything and go over it later.
Shepard, will you be going first thing in the morning to get Maxine and her driver?
I think Nakri needs me over in the.
I mean, I was figuring we can go get the cart, and then we could do cart justice, and then use it to get around.
Cart justice.
Yeah, it seems to me that probably by the time you got the cart and got back, since it only takes a very short period of time for the griffon to do this flyby, you might be able to have your pinpointed location, and that might become your highest priority. I don't know. So I'm trying to kind of prioritize what you think is going to happen.
Okay. Yeah. I think let's just have him claim the body for now. Don't move it, but just claim it, and then that way we can come back to it. At least
they won't take it off to a grave or something somewhere. So yeah you've kind of held it. All right, so we'll get that in there. It probably will take him, if he is unlucky in his choices or whatever, it could take as long as 2 hours. More likely it'll only take him an hour or something if he happens to fly over exactly the right area that's needed. So what I'm going to ask from you, Cashin, you guys have your full night's sleep. You get to sleep. Nothing happens in Troll Skull Alley tonight. Absolutely nothing happens. Yeah, you occasionally hear strolling musicians out on the main drag, but people are staying away from Troll Skull. It's got a bit of a reputation right now, so they're staying away from the hole in the ground in the intersection. And so Cashin will go over, he'll be over there with the crack of dawn, excited because he wants to get it. So he'll get over there first thing. And the guard captain, the one that does the training flights, will have Bone Snapper up and saddled and will be waiting for you first thing. So I need from you a list, and please type it into the Roll20 chat if you would, a list of, skipping the C ward because you've already done that. What order are you going to do these districts in?
Okay.
And then later in the meantime, Relian and Epiphany are probably going to go do their thing.
So, what specifically are you and Relian off to? Oh, you're going to do research or what?
Research on kneecaps and specifically how durable they are.
Whose kneecap?
I was gonna say if you were going to search about that stone thing,
Stone of Gore.
Aren't we close to a library? Find a book for a guy?
Yes, you did.
Could use that as like a favor.
Maybe so.
All right, in order to kind of have this done before we end tonight so that I will be able to get you started next week off on the next phase, I will say that Cashin gets readings that he didn't expect. Right away as he flies over the dockward, and let me go in here and pull up these these setups that I've got here for how I visualized you flying like this, or driving.
Yeah.
Kind of trying to get the whole district as best you can with as little distance as possible. It takes you a while to get around the dockward because it's just a big place, but not too long. You get a ping, and I'm going to, let me go back to the other layer, and that layer. And I'm going to make a mark. You actually get a ping when you are right here.
Where's here?
I'm making a squiggle in the dockward.
All right.
When you are flying past that area, you get a squiggle. And as you kind of fly around in a circle on that area, it seems to be on one of the ships in the bay.
So as he tries to get a guess on where it is, he's just waving it around, and he gets a stronger pull from the ships.
Yes, it's at a ship that's in the bay. But in the interest of thoroughness, you decide to keep going. It is nearing the end of 2 hours. You're getting along in hours, and you have gone through the southern ward with not one whir. You have gone through the trades ward with not one whir. City of Dead, nothing. Castle ward, nothing. North ward.
Uh-oh.
Getting the route up. Actually wound up with, no, that's okay, because it's long, it goes all the way down there. But actually it would stop right, part of what I've got here is actually, let me get that put onto the other ward. Okay, there. That's now just the northward. When you are right, now I have to make sure that I'm doing this right. When you are right here, and let me make another squiggle, surprisingly close to the Troll Skull Inn, you get a whir.
And at that, Cashin lets out a curse, because as he notices, it's in the same direction the Zent fled to.
When the DM smiles.
Oh boy.
So you now fly, and the field ward gives you no whirs at all. You get nothing from the field ward when you are doing it. So now it is about, you probably started at like 6 o'clock in the morning, very bright and early. It is now about 8 o'clock. You land, turn Bone Snapper back over to the guards, and catch a taxi hack back to the Troll Skull Inn to await the others coming with their carriage.
And all this time, he has this grim look on his face.
Yep. All right, so you have 2 marks. One is a ship, and one is near the Troll Skull Inn.
It occurred to me as we were doing
That
the search.
second one, he does not look. Sorry.
There, let's go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it occurred to me as you were doing the search. What if there are
What if there are?
More than one,
2?
basically.
Yep.
I had that same sneaking suspicion.
I mean, there's that, but it has to have been created by
Nim?
yeah.
Well,
Does it
there's
have-
nothing. No.
What if the rogue nimblewright created another one?
Or what if someone has one of their own nimble rights? Either way, I sort of I expected this.
I mean, that's another
Complication.
possibility too, but man. All right, we'll figure this out.
Yep. Well, he comes to the Troll Skull with that bad news that one nimble right is in the Dock Ward and another is in here in the North Ward, very close by.
And
Straight.
so I'm assuming Gore or Shepherd has come with his carriage, and we'll pick up next week. Do you want to start with the carriage ride, or do you want to start with the body? How do you want to start next week?
Probably start with the body next week.
Body. I also have another question because I'm not overlooking a piece of detail, but remembering details. Now I need the permission to question a body that I have no claim over. Correct?
Yes, but that would be, you would go with Renair to get that permission. That Renair would say, I need to question this body. This is a family member, and I need to find out why he was there, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he would
I
go with
don't-
you while you got the
Yeah.
permission.
Yeah. But I don't need the permission to question Halder.
Well,
No.
you need the permission to use the services of the Speakers of the Dead.
Okay.
They are members of the guard whose job it is to interview the dead.
Yeah. No, I understand. I understand that. I'm to get permission. I can try for a 2-for-1 since Halder was the second closest to the whole thing before it went down.
Yes, you can get them. You can get permission to speak with both of them. Yes.
Okay. I was like, cause I'm thinking, I was like, okay, I need to do this. I was like, do I need it for Halder? Because I had already claimed the body.
Wait, wasn't it Heldar?
I thought it was Halder. H-A-L-A-D.
No, Heldar.
Okay, Halder.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Heldar.
Sometimes the accent. Sorry.
That's okay.
But yeah, no, because I was like, do I need permission to question my own person that I've claimed? And I was like, do I have a
No,
workaround?
if you were to take the body and do whatever with it in your possession, no, that you don't need permission for. But you don't have access to. So you've got to use their Speakers of the Dead, and that's the problem.
Okay, no, that's fine. I can.
So I'm just going to point out my observation over the past 3 weeks has been we are trying to do things that we do not necessarily have access to, or we are psyching ourselves out of attempting to follow certain lines of influence. That's what she's been trying to tell us for like a month.
This is, and I will say to the viewers out there, if you are running a Waterdeep campaign, this campaign is all about your points of renown that they earn through their quests or whatever. They can spend those like money. And secondly, who do you know that can pull those strings? You actually, as players, have more strings you can pull than you realize.
Yeah,
I just used one of my strings.
I'm going to do body, Jalester, and I don't know about you guys, but I want to go after that right that's near our house. Take care of matters on the home front first.
So would you?
Oh yeah, that is.
All right. So would you allow other people to take the ride down to the ship?
I say if we're gonna do either one, at that point we need to stick together.
Right, because I'm saying it could take quite a bit of time to round up Gillester, get the approval, get over to the halls, get the show the papers, get the approval, talk to a speaker of the dead, get the interview done. This could take several hours.
Yeah.
My understanding was that they were doing that, and me and Epi were also doing quote-unquote research while Cashin was flying around.
Yeah, the research could be done easily in that period of time.
Yeah.
I love how we're going with research.
I mean, you're looking into what all this was. So it's research. It's just a little hard-nosed kind of research. But her action requires running back and forth between halls of justice, the castle Waterdeep, possibly even the open lord. I mean, you've got to pull a lot of strings together to get this done.
Yeah.
I've got a question. Would it be feasible to get all this done in the time frame of 2 to 3 hours while Cashin's up in the air if Nokri and Shepard use
that would
what's
greatly
his name?
Maxine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maxine's
I would use that right there. That way we're not wasting the time.
Yeah, that would
together.
basically cut out your traveling time, cut it down to the point where it's nil. So yeah, but I would say your primary thing is to get possession in the sense of paperwork, to get possession of those bodies. Yeah. Once you have them identified, you will be handling the body in perhaps that afternoon or tomorrow or whatever. It doesn't matter when you get back for the speaking, because you've got to pin down that nimblewright before he gets away somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's my suggestion going forward. So right now we are on early morning of a new day. Cashin has spent between 2 and 3 hours up in the air, and we are going to say during that time, Epi and Rel have done some street investigation with their organization, and Shepard and Nokri have used Maxine to ferry around the city to get various paperwork done for bodies. Those two things we can RP out at the start of next session. So, but when we start actually looking for the nimblewright, it would probably be maybe late morning, and I say we go towards the one closest to us first, and then if that turns out to be a bust, we can head down to the docks. That's my thoughts.
Okay, and I would say that your best bet, Nokri, would be go in, worry about getting the paperwork perhaps, but not returning to the halls of justice. Go to the hall of justice, get the bodies claimed so that you have signed for them, they know who's going to be picking them up, then return maybe that afternoon or maybe tomorrow morning, whatever, with the formal paperwork in hand saying we have the right to use the speaker of the dead. So that's
what I would do. I would do claim, get the paperwork at least started, if not picked up later that evening or tomorrow, and we will interview those bodies later. I want to know which one of these rights is Nim's, and which one might be a
one might just be a circus performer.
I'm gonna go on over. I'm pretty sure the one down the street is the one we're after, and the one at the docks is something completely separate.
Given what else is down at that dock,
very telling,
very OOC, and given who has died in all of this going forward, I ain't putting anything to frickin' chance right now.
Yeah,
that guy, I will sink him at sea.
Look. I say we investigate the signature reading near our house first. If it turns out to be a bust, we go down to the docks. But if it turns out to be, what we're looking for. Nothing's saying that we can't pop down the docks one night, maybe that very night, just for good measure, and burn down a certain boat very carefully.
You don't.
We will get in trouble.
With that, I'm going to leave this for the OOC fallout that's going to happen behind the scenes. We are going to have fun next week. If next week, don't miss this. Tune in because things are going to be crazy. Hopefully, I'll have the video up faster this week because I won't have problems with Windows Explorer. But anyway, we will get this up. Fun times next week. We've got lots going on. And in the midst of all this wild stuff and sparklies, what does Relian have to leave us with tonight?
Bye, everybody. Remember, light travels much faster than sound. This is why some people appear bright until you hear them speak.
Perfect! I like that one. I like that one. Okay, on that, we will wish you good night all. See you next week.